In a world that glorifies networking, social media connections, and the relentless pursuit of likability, Niccolò Machiavelli, the Renaissance philosopher whose name has become synonymous with strategic cunning, offers a radical and timeless truth. True power is not forged by amassing relationships, but by sculpting them with ruthless precision. For you are not judged by the allies you gather, but by the dead weight you tolerate, and a kingdom, career, or life does not collapse due to a lack of friends, but because it harbors the unworthy flatterers, who feign loyalty, emotional drainers, who burden you with their chaos, gossips who erode your reputation, and silent rivals who sabotage your confidence with subtle envy. Most people, driven by fear of conflict, loneliness, or societal judgment, collect relationships like trophies, clinging to connections that no longer serve them, mistakenly equating harmony with strength. Yet this reluctance to confront the unworthy dilutes their influence, drains their energy, and sabotages their potential, allowing parasites to take root in their circle. Machiavelli, however, understood that power demands vigilance, requiring you to observe human behavior with a cold, calculating eye, identifying those who weaken your position, and excising them like weeds from a garden before their roots grow to deep, a process he mastered through silent observation and decisive action. The unworthy often disguise themselves as allies, blending into your life with charm, flattery, or false vulnerability, and spotting them requires keen awareness of their subtle red flags. Starting with the flatterer, who agrees with your every word, mirrors your opinions, and nods enthusiastically, even when a challenge or honest critique would serve you better. Their hollow support lacking the conviction of true loyalty. Imagine a colleague who praises your every idea in meetings, amplifying your ego but never offering constructive feedback, only to distance themselves when a project fails, claiming they were just supporting you, revealing their agreement was not a sign of allegiance, but a calculated bid for access to your resources, influence, or success. As Machiavelli warned that he who flatters without a spine will betray without warning, these strategic cowards posing a danger because their loyalty is contingent on your victories, not your struggles, and their presence blinds you to genuine feedback, creating a false sense of security that leaves you vulnerable when adversity strikes. Emotional drainers are another insidious threat. Individuals whose inconsistent moods swing between enthusiasm and despair, demanding your attention to prop up their fragile egos, like a friend who calls incessantly to vent about minor crises, expecting you to validate their feelings or solve their problems, their chaos becoming your cage as they divert your focus from your goals. To their unresolved pain, Machiavelli advised that leadership is not about babysitting, but building with those who are already whole, for you cannot afford to carry the weight of someone else's instability, and these drainers, by monopolizing your energy, erode your clarity and momentum, forcing you into a caretaker role that undermines your power. Then there are the over-explainers, who drown you in excuses why they were late, why they failed, why it's not their fault, spinning lengthy tales to obscure their shortcomings, like a co-worker who misses a deadline and delivers a monologue about traffic, family issues, or miscommunication. Their verbosity a calculated attempt to preempt your judgment and confuse your instincts. As Machiavelli recognized that those who over-explain are not transparent, but manipulative, hiding their worthlessness behind a flood of words. For true power lies in actions that speak for themselves, not in rhetoric that distracts from results. Chameleons, with their fluid principles, pose a different danger, adapting their beliefs to suit the moment, mirroring your values one day and contradicting them the next, like a friend who champions your ideals in private but shifts allegiances in front of a more influential crowd, their spineless opportunism making them unreliable. As Machiavelli despised such double-tongued individuals who lack a moral core, their betrayal inevitable when a stronger player emerges, destabilizing your circle with their unpredictability. Beware those who rush to establish intimacy, sharing secrets or trauma dumping early on, like an acquaintance who confides deeply personal struggles within days, only to demand special treatment later, saying, "I thought we were close there." False vulnerability, a tactic to bind you emotionally and exploit your empathy. creating obligations that drain your power and blur your boundaries. A manipulation Machiavelli would see through as a calculated trap. Gossips, meanwhile, bring doubt and division, sharing rumors to seem entertaining, like a friend who eagerly spills the tea about others, only to later mention your private matters in casual conversation. Their careless words eroding your reputation in rooms you've never entered. As Machiavelli emphasized controlling the narrative to protect your influence, and those who trade in your currency, your name without consent, are destabilizers, not connectors. Most insidious are silent rivals who mask envy with backhanded compliments or subtle jabs, like a colleague who congratulates your promotion but immediately boasts of their own achievements, or remarks, "Must be nice to have that kind of luck." Their passive-aggressive behavior chipping away at your confidence and focus, without ever challenging you openly, their danger lying in their covert sabotage. As Machiavelli called them, snakes in the garden, not aggressive enough to be feared but not loyal enough to be trusted. Their rivalry rooted in a desire to be you rather than support you. Removing these individuals is an art form, requiring more than confrontation. As Machiavelli cautioned that wounding without killing invites vengeance, and half-hearted cuts through emotional outbursts or lengthy explanations empower the unworthy to cling to relevance. Instead, you must prune with silent dominance, making yourself psychologically unreachable by withholding responses to their words, laughter to their jokes, or engagement with their vents. As seen when you stop replying to a needy friend's emotional texts, starving their need for validation until they drift away. Not because you push them, but because they feel insignificant. A tactic that preserves your peace while asserting control. Engineer distance by making interactions exhausting, responding to messages vaguely or not at all. Declining invitations with polite excuses like, "I've been tied up with priorities," or letting your energy feel cold and unpredictable. Allowing them to rationalize the separation as growing apart, as demonstrated when you delay responses to a colleague's persistent emails, prompting them to tire of the effort and disengage. Elevate your standards through your lifestyle, surrounding yourself with sharper, more ambitious individuals and publicly aligning with deeper values, such as sharing your commitment to excellence on social media or networking with high-caliber professionals. Creating an environment where the unworthy feel outclassed and self-select out of your circle, their discomfort signaling that they no longer belong. Rather than erasing them entirely, let them see your success from afar, like a locked door they can view but never enter. As when you share professional milestones publicly, but ignore their attempts to reconnect, their regret becoming a silent lesson in their irrelevance, a tactic more haunting than outright rejection. Keep your tone neutral and your resolve firm, avoiding emotional outbursts or guilt-ridden explanations. Responding to inquiries about your distance with, "I've shifted my focus to my goals," a statement that shuts down debate while maintaining your power, ensuring that your silence carries more weight than any argument. The unworthy rarely stay gone, lingering to test your boundaries with guilt trips, saying, "I miss how things used to be," or "I never thought you'd treat me this way," targeting your conscience to weaken your resolve. But you must let guilt die, recognizing you owe no debt to those who failed to meet your standards. And counter with silence or a neutral, "I've moved forward," refusing to engage their emotional blackmail. When they use mutual connections to plead their case, with friends mentioning how they've changed or miss you, control the narrative with a calm, "I've outgrown that connection. I only move forward now," shutting down re-entry attempts without drama. And if mutual contacts persist, place them on your watch list, as their loyalty may be divided. Some return claiming transformation, citing therapy or newfound maturity. But Machiavelli urged skepticism, for true change is shown through consistent actions over months, not announced through promises. So test their rebrand by observing their behavior. Do they offer value or seek access, respect your distance, or angle to win you back? And if their actions don't align, treat their new persona as a repackaged manipulation. Others minimize your decision to cut them off, claiming it was an overreaction, attempting to shrink your standards to fit their comfort zone, but never debate your boundaries. Responding with, "My principles are clear," letting them sit in their confusion. And if they accuse you of being cold, let them freeze outside your circle. Nostalgia is another trap, with phrases like, "Remember when we had such a good time," designed to soften your clarity by evoking shared memories, but resist this sweet poison. Countering with, "I'm focused on the present," prioritizing progress over sentimentality, as the past blinds you to their patterns of worthlessness. The most cunning mimic your language, interests, or ambitions, adopting your tone or quoting similar books to blend back into your world. Like a former friend who suddenly shares your passion for philosophy after you distance them. But don't be flattered, be alert, for true evolution doesn't require an audience, and their strategic mimicry is a performance, not a transformation, as seen when you observe their actions over time and find they're still seeking your validation rather than living their values. To make pruning a permanent mindset, internalize Machiavelli's wisdom. Build trust slowly through consistency, not charm, letting time test people before granting them access, and cut quickly when patterns of weakness, betrayal, or rot emerge, avoiding hesitation that allows parasites to take root, as seen when you immediately distance a colleague who repeatedly over-explains their failures, preventing their excuses from becoming a fixture in your circle. Prune neutrally, not emotionally, keeping your tone calm and your mind sharp, as emotional cuts invite resistance when a gossiper questions your distance. A neutral, "I'm prioritizing my focus," disarms their defenses without giving them ammunition to fight back. Remove people during moments of victory, when their resentment or rivalry is most visible, like cutting a friend who makes backhanded compliments after your promotion, leveraging your success to prevent betrayal before it forms, as Machiavelli advised acting when you have the upper hand. Replace feelings with standards, asking, "Do they meet the requirements of my circle?" with a code that demands proven loyalty, mutual respect, positive energy, and aligned actions, ensuring that violations like a chameleon's shifting principles warrant immediate removal, as seen when you distance a friend who contradicts your values in front of others. Nurture those who elevate you, promoting loyal allies, praising growth, and elevating those who stand firm in adversity, like publicly acknowledging a colleague's consistent support, to signal that your circle is a place where excellence thrives, not where mediocrity survives. Let the unworthy witness your rise from a distance, their regret teaching a lesson you never need to speak, as when you share your achievements on social media, knowing they'll see your success but lack a seat at your table. Guard your circle like a fortress, recognizing that threats often hide in good intentions or unresolved connections, as seen when you resist a manipulator's attempt to re-enter through false vulnerability, pruning without fear and remaining resolute against their return. To deepen this practice, consider Machiavelli's historical context. As a diplomat in Renaissance Italy, he navigated courts filled with intrigue, where flattery and betrayal were commonplace. Yet he thrived by observing patterns, building alliances with the reliable, and cutting those who posed risks. Like the Medici allies, he distanced when their loyalty wavered. A lesson you can apply by studying your own circle's dynamics, perhaps in a workplace where a manager's excessive praise masks their desire for control, or a friendship where constant venting reveals a lack of accountability. Psychologically, pruning aligns with the principle of self-preservation, as studies in social psychology show that toxic relationships increase stress and reduce cognitive performance, underscoring the need to protect your mental space, as seen when you distance a friend whose chaos leaves you drained, freeing your energy for creative pursuits. Practically, apply these principles in various contexts. In business, prune partners who overpromise and underdeliver, like a vendor who offers excuses instead of results. In personal life, distance relatives who gossip about your choices, preserving your reputation. In romance, cut partners who demand constant validation, ensuring your emotional energy fuels your growth. To refine your pruning skills, practice active observation, noting how people react to your successes. Do they celebrate genuinely, or do their smiles feel forced? And test their loyalty by sharing a minor challenge, observing whether they offer support or deflect responsibility. Develop a personal code, writing down your standards. Loyalty must be proven, respect mutual, energy positive, and review it monthly to assess your circle, ensuring no one slips through who doesn't align. When pruning, anticipate resistance, as the unworthy may provoke you with accusations of arrogance or selfishness. But give them nothing, let them scream into a void. As Machiavelli advised that silence is more powerful than reaction, allowing their irrelevance to consume them. If they attempt to re-enter through others, redirect the conversation to your goals, reinforcing your boundaries without engaging their narrative. As seen when you calmly tell a mutual friend, "I've moved on for a reason," preventing their manipulation from taking hold. Over time, your circle will transform into a fortress, not a burden, populated by those who elevate your vision, loyal allies who challenge you constructively. Like a mentor who pushes you to refine your ideas, resilient partners who stand firm in adversity, like a colleague who supports you during a crisis, and ambitious peers who inspire your growth, like a friend who shares your drive for excellence. By pruning relentlessly, you send a signal that mediocrity is unwelcome, attracting those who match your standards and repelling those who cannot. As Machiavelli's own rise demonstrated, when he surrounded himself with dependable advisors while cutting ties with unreliable courtiers. Ultimately, social pruning is not cruelty but clarity, a strategic act of self-preservation that reclaims your identity and fortifies your influence. For as Machiavelli understood, power is defined not by who you attract, but by who you reject. And by excising the unworthy with precision, defending against their return with resolve, and nurturing those who elevate you, you create a circle that propels you to greatness, ensuring your rise is unhindered by the anchors of mediocrity. Your success a testament to the fortress you've built through the art of subtraction.